In hip-hop, most arguments stay quiet. Rappers usually don't fight face-to-face. Instead, they send sneaky lines through songs or make private phone calls. After that, the problem usually fades away behind closed doors. But throughout hip-hop history, there have always been a few people you really don't want to mess with. Some artists like to keep things calm and private. Others do the opposite. They turn every problem into a public show. They don't hide their anger. They throw shade openly, like it's a sport. These are the people who don't just rap about beef. They live it. They put their full energy into every conflict. And standing right in the middle of that chaos is 50 Cent. 50 Cent doesn't just argue with his rivals. He feeds off the drama. Every feud he gets into turns into headlines. When he doesn't like someone, he doesn't pretend. He says it clearly. To him, beef isn't a game or entertainment. It's personal. And when 50 is angry, everyone can feel it. That's why his conflicts always shake the industry and keep fans glued to the story. Most people already know that 50 Cent didn't just have beef with Ja Rule. He completely destroyed Ja Rule's run when it was at its peak. Their feud became one of the most famous in hip-hop history. It hit so hard that people started using the phrase "getting Ja Ruled" as slang. If a rapper got totally embarrassed in a battle, people would say they got Ja Ruled. That shows how big 50's impact was. He didn't just win a feud. He changed how people talked about beef in hip-hop. And 50 Cent has never been afraid of controversy. He will go at anyone if there's tension, even his own family. When things went bad between him and his son, Marquise Jackson, 50 didn't keep it private. He publicly called his own son names and accused him of only wanting money. Fans were shocked. Most people would never put family problems out in public like that. But with 50, even personal issues can become headlines. It showed one thing very clearly. When 50 Cent is angry, nobody is off limits. Not even his own blood. Now, 50 Cent may have made his boldest move yet. And this time, it's aimed at one of the most powerful men hip-hop has ever seen, Sean Combs, also known as P. Diddy or Puff Daddy. For years, Diddy was seen as a huge boss in music and business. His name carried power. He looked like a symbol of success, control, and wealth in entertainment. But lately, everything has changed. Stories, accusations, and rumors have been surrounding Diddy nonstop. His image has taken serious damage. And while all of this has been happening, 50 Cent has been watching closely, waiting, then striking at the moments that hit the hardest. Because of that, Diddy's public downfall has turned into one of the biggest stories hip-hop has seen in years. His once perfect image isn't just cracked, it's completely broken. The man who used to be praised for his business empire and flashy lifestyle is now surrounded by controversy. The shine he once had is fading fast. Many people have tried to explain Diddy's fall through interviews and documentaries. There have been stories about lies, betrayals, and wild behavior that people whispered about for years. Some stories sounded so crazy they felt unreal. But none of those projects caused as much noise as the new 4-part Netflix documentary called Sean Combs: The Reckoning. And here's the part that shocked everyone. That documentary was executive produced by 50 Cent himself. People are calling it one of the most damaging deep dives into Diddy's world ever made. This documentary doesn't feel rushed or messy. It carefully walks through every stage of Diddy's life. Each part connects like puzzle pieces, leading straight to today's chaos. It mixes old scandals with new problems. It shows how Diddy's past keeps coming back to hurt his present. Many viewers are saying it's one of the best-made documentaries they've seen in a long time. But to understand why this documentary matters so much, we have to go back to the beginning, when 50 Cent and Diddy first crossed paths. When 50 Cent entered hip-hop, he came in ready for war. He didn't tiptoe around anyone. In 1999, he released a song called How to Rob. In that track, he openly named and joked about robbing some of the biggest stars in hip-hop, including Diddy. That song wasn't just a diss. It was a warning. It told the world that 50 wasn't scared of anyone, no matter how powerful they were. Not long after that, 50 Cent survived one of the most famous moments in hip-hop history, being shot 9 times and living. That experience changed everything about him. His voice became deeper and rougher. His image turned into one of survival and toughness. From that moment on, 50 wasn't just a rapper. He became a symbol of strength. Later, 50 says he worked behind the scenes with Diddy. According to him, he helped write lyrics for Diddy's songs. Other people from the industry have supported parts of that story. This made fans look at their relationship differently. At first, things seemed playful. 50 even joked about Diddy in songs. But things started to change when 50 noticed behavior from Diddy that made him uncomfortable. 50 once shared a story about Diddy offering to take him shopping early in his career. That moment confused 50 and made him question Diddy's intentions. From there, the tension grew deeper and stranger. As 50's career exploded in the early 2000s, he became one of the biggest stars on the planet. He wasn't just making hit songs. He was building businesses, launching brands, and making smart investments. He became everything Diddy wanted to be: famous, powerful, respected in the streets, and loved by fans. That only made the tension worse. Over time, business deals fell apart. Accusations flew. The tone between them became darker. 50 began pushing long-running rumors about Diddy that many people were afraid to talk about. Years later, things became even more personal when 50's ex-girlfriend, Daphne Joy, the mother of a son, was seen spending time with Diddy. Social media exploded, and 50 did what he does best. He trolled publicly, turning a painful personal situation into viral moments. Then came the lawsuits. Serious allegations were filed against Diddy. Daphne Joy's name was mentioned in legal documents. These were allegations, not proven facts, but when the news broke, 50 jumped right back into the spotlight, firing off posts and comments that spread everywhere. At the same time, 50 went to court, asking for full custody of his son. The feud was no longer just about music or business. It became about family, protection, and control. Many people believe this is why 50 pushed so hard to expose Diddy's world through the Netflix documentary. He didn't just want jokes or revenge anymore. He wanted the public to see everything: the power, the secrets, and the dark side. The documentary shows what can happen when someone has too much power for too long. It shows how money and fame can make someone feel untouchable. And it asks a big question: what happens when the truth finally catches up? Now, the real question is this: is 50 Cent doing this because he wants accountability, or because he knows how to strike when a giant starts falling? And if you watched the documentary, what moment made you stop and think, this is bigger than music? Because in the next part, we're going even deeper. We're breaking down the timeline, the hidden connections, and the names most people don't even realize are part of this story. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want the next chapter, comment one word. At the end of all this, one thing becomes very clear. This story was never just about music. It wasn't just about diss tracks, business deals, or famous names arguing in public. What we are really watching is what happens when power lasts too long without being questioned. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs stood at the top of the music world. He wasn't just an artist. He was a boss, a brand, a symbol. People wanted his approval. People wanted to be near him. And when someone reaches that level, very few people are brave enough to say no. Even fewer are willing to speak up when something feels wrong. That's where this story becomes bigger than hip-hop. Because when no one challenges power, it grows unchecked. When money, fame, and influence stack up for years, the rules start to feel optional. Accountability feels distant. And slowly, the line between right and wrong starts to blur. This is exactly what the documentary keeps pointing toward. Not just one bad decision, not one rumor, but a long pattern of behavior that was ignored, laughed off, or buried because the person involved was too powerful to touch. And standing on the opposite side of that story is 50 Cent. Love him or hate him, one thing about 50 has never changed. He doesn't forget. He doesn't let things slide. And he doesn't wait for permission to speak. While others stayed quiet, smiled for cameras, or played along, 50 watched from a distance. He remembered every slight, every strange moment, every red flag. To 50, conflict isn't something that ends. It's something that builds. He plays the long game. And when the timing is right, He strikes in the loudest way possible. That's why this documentary feels so heavy. It doesn't come from a random outsider. It comes from someone who has been inside the industry for decades. Someone who has crossed paths with Diddy multiple times. Someone who claims he saw the cracks long before the public did. This is why people can't stop talking about it. Because even if you don't believe every claim, even if you question certain details, the bigger picture is impossible to ignore. Too many stories, too many patterns, too many people saying similar things years apart. And it forces everyone watching to ask the same uncomfortable question. How much did we ignore because the music was good? How much did we laugh off because the lifestyle looked flashy? How many warning signs did people see and choose not to follow because staying quiet was easier? That's what makes this moment different from past rumors. This time, the conversation isn't being controlled by one powerful voice. It's being pushed into the open where everyone can see it, question it, and talk about it. And that's exactly why this matters. Because accountability doesn't start in courtrooms or headlines. It starts when people stop looking away. When fans stop separating the art from the behavior without asking questions. When silence is no longer rewarded. This isn't about choosing sides. It's about understanding how power works, how it protects itself, and how dangerous it becomes when it's never challenged. Now think about this. If someone as powerful as Diddy can reach this point, what does that say about the system around him? The labels, the executives, the artists who benefited, the people who knew something was off but stayed quiet because speaking up felt risky. That's not just a music problem. That's a human problem. And that's why this story connects far beyond hip-hop. It's about fame. It's about ego. It's about what happens when success convinces someone they are above consequences. And it's about how long the truth can stay buried before it finds a way out. The documentary doesn't tell you what to think. It lays the pieces out and lets you decide. And that's powerful. Because once you see the full picture, you can't unsee it. Now here's where you come in. This conversation doesn't end when the credits roll. It doesn't end when the video stops. It only continues if people are willing to talk about it honestly. So ask yourself, was 50 Cent exposing the truth because he wanted justice? Or was he simply smart enough to know when the walls were already cracking? Was this documentary necessary? Or was it calculated? And most importantly, what does accountability really look like when someone has spent their entire life avoiding it? That's why your voice matters here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Not just one word. Really say what you think. Did this documentary change how you see Diddy? Did it change how you see power in the music industry? Or did it make you question how many other stories we still haven't heard? If there was one moment in the series that made you pause and say, "This is bigger than music," write it down. Because those moments matter. And if you believe stories like this should be talked about openly, without fear, without sugarcoating, then make sure you support this channel. Hit the like button so this video reaches more people. Subscribe if you want deeper breakdowns that don't play it safe. And turn on notifications, because the next part is coming. In the next video, we're laying everything out clearly. The timeline, the turning points, the quiet connections people keep missing. And a few names that rarely get mentioned, but keep showing up behind the scenes. This story is far from over. So if you want the next chapter, comment one word below, reckoning. Because when the truth finally comes out, there's no going back.